Hello, Dr. Tawana Worlds by birth, also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grew up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vault and create wealth from within. Hey, what's up, y'all? What is going on? Give me 1 second.
Bluetooth connected.
Let me pull up my door. Hope all is well. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hope all is well. What's going on, cousins? I hope all is well. Let me go ahead and get started over here on this other platform really quickly. I want to share with y'all what y'all see in the description, okay? The ship is sinking fast. Yes, yes, yes. And now they are finally admitting that the dollar is dying. And I want y'all to see that real quick. Let me see where it's at. What's up, y'all? As y'all come in, I got my head down real quick trying to find. I got to share some of this with y'all. Y'all going to be like, ain't no way, Sway. I need to make sure it is not in this phone right here. As y'all coming on, I want to say welcome to you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody. Please, if you can, share this, okay? That is the price of admission. It is a donation of a share. That's it. That's it and that's all. So please share this with somebody somewhere real quick. Okay, I think it's already in here. Hopefully it is. Oh, yeah, there we go. I got it. Okay, so look, check this out. Your girl been by here for a cool minute telling y'all that what's really going on. So I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time. I got an interview that I really need you guys to hear. It's not going to be played on this live. I'm going to try to come back and play it again. It's about these tech giants and also these giants that own the payment platforms that we use and we transact on every single day. What their plan is for we, the American people. Me telling it to you ain't going to do you no justice. I want you to hear from the horse's mouth. So if you ain't subscribed, if you ain't following, if you ain't doing any of that good old stuff, then please do so, okay? Because you ain't going to want to miss that one. Like I said, it's going to come from their mouth and not mine. Maybe it'd be more believable if you hear these people say it, because I've been saying it. I've been saying all of this. And this has been the reason why I have showed up the way that I have showed up and continue to do so, because I saw this. I foresaw this. Okay. And now it's here. And this ship called the US of A is sinking at a rapid rate. Okay. Let me pull up on the screen what I want y'all to see. They said, because it's one thing to put it in the title and people will say, you know, that's clickbait. No, this ain't no clickbait. Not at all. Because I've been saying this. Let me share my screen real quick and I'll flip the camera around over here for my Instagram fam. Hope y'all doing wonderful, okay? Welcome and welcome back. Go ahead and share to the story somewhere, DM, send this to somebody, okay? Quickly. I'm not going to be here long at all either. But your girl been over here on this wall hollering this for a cool minute. The dollar is dying. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. I've also said whenever they begin to tell you, whenever the news people begin to mention it and tell us, it's already too late. It's already a done deal. They don't never tell us whatever happening. They never tell us that. Why? Because it will produce and cause mass pandemonium. If they just come out and say, hey, you know what, you guys, our dollar is dying and we're going to switch over to a new currency. And so, that's just the end of the American dollar. Do you know people will lose it? This is all they've worked for. And my whole entire life, money has been, the dollar bill has been the means of exchange. It has been the currency. Okay. So you talking about people that's older than me. You're talking about people that's younger than me, that this is all they've known all of their lives. And so now to have to convert over to something that they are totally unaware of, that is controlled by another entity, that they don't have the ability to go to the bank and withdraw some cash and have some in their pocket, any of that, it would cause mass pandemonium because people have worked so hard for so long for that. So they got to do the slow roll, okay? Like a python, like a snake. It wraps itself around you until you are choked out. So by the time it reaches mainstream media, it's too late. I started telling everybody about inflation in June of 2023 because that is when egg prices started to rise. And they said by January, all of the produce, everything would be inflated. So I started telling people almost 7 months before it really hit the shelves and it really started hurting your pocketbooks so that they can prepare. If you get ahead of the game, if you get ahead of the curve, okay, you won't be rolled on. You won't be crushed. You won't be demolished if you get ahead of it. And we as a people have to learn how to start getting ahead so we're not the behind and we're not the tail, okay? I would rather fall on the rock than the rock to fall on me, period. I would rather fall on the rock. My survival, my chances of surviving is greater than the rock falling on me and crushing me. So when we get ahead of the game, when we take preventative measures, then when hit the fan, it will not affect you. It may impact you, but not affect you. That is the name of the game. It may impact you. It's impacting everybody. But some people it's impacting, some people it's affecting. Even the wealthy, even the rich, they may have the means to pay for things that some people cannot. But these tariffs is impacting them. The things that are happening is impacting them. They have to pay more in taxes to kind of make up for the other part. It's not paying any taxes, right? So it may impact you, but it won't affect you. Affecting you is different. It means it changes the mode of operation, how things flow, how things are used to being done. Now you have to shift gears. Now you have to pivot. And clearly you see on the screen the declining status of the US dollar. It is dying. And what is most scary is that people don't have a plan B. They know nothing about crypto. Are they too superficial about crypto? Okay. That's going to be the new global, not just in America, global currency. The bricks they using gold, okay? They getting on the gold system. So that's why we trying to now get on the gold system. The dollar isn't backed by anything. And it's sad how people fall out behind money, how people get into it behind money, how people unalive other people behind money, how people stop talking to people behind money, how people treat money like it is a god. Literally. I'm scared to move this money. I got to save this money. I got to hide this money. It's paper. And it's dying. And if you don't want to get in crypto, you dang on sure better get back to the basics. What is the basics? Gold and silver. That has always been the currency before man could even think about etching a man's face on a paper bill or on a silver coin. Gold and silver. Think about it. There's a face etched on silver. We call it 50-cent pieces, quarters, nickels, pennies. That is called precious metals. They're not making pennies anymore because it costs more to make a penny. $3 to make one penny. That's inflation. It costs $3 to make 1 cent. Make that make sense. Because paper ain't nothing. Cash is trash. But look how expensive a 1 cent penny on metal is versus the paper. You got to pay more paper to get metal, a little bit of metal, okay? So that's how you can think about it, look at it. The dollar is dying out, and what are you going to do when it dies? What if tomorrow, okay? What if today? Because some people ain't going to make it to tomorrow. And that's not speaking anything over anybody. People are being unalive, dying, passing away, expiring, however you want to call it, every single day by the boatloads. 100 and something people was just lost in one day in Texas, in one day. There is 25 people in, I want to say, Baltimore right now fighting for their life. 25 people with 5 being in critical condition, all overdosed. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. Just last week, it was 20-some people injured. 5 of them passed away. Boatloads of people. Every single day. And we put stuff off till tomorrow that we can take care of right now. Not knowing if we even gonna wake up on tomorrow. But just say hypothetically, tomorrow was the day, because we got to be thinking like that. Say, for instance, you was granted tomorrow. And tomorrow was the day that we woke up, because we don't know. We're not in control of any of these systems. We are not in control of any of these systems at all. So we don't know when they want to flip a switch or hit a keyboard or key on a keyboard. We don't know. But they telling us. Yeah, the dollar is declining, bro. We got to get back to gold. What would people do? You don't have no gold. You know, gold costs $4,000 an ounce. I don't even think people is getting that every 2 weeks from their work check. That's why we don't own none. We don't own any silver, except the nickels and the dimes and the quarters and the half a dollars. We don't own any silver. We don't own any land. If we got some land, land is the foundation of everything. If I got some land, I'm rich. Trust and believe that. I can either have land and don't have no gold and silver, I'm rich. I can have gold, and I don't care what currency y'all implement. Because gold always going to be the standard. Gold always going to be the top dog. You can go to Google right now and see if gold is surging more than crypto. Something God says, gold and silver is mine. Man can't reduplicate, man can't make it, all man can do is find it and utilize it, and he created it for us. As long as you got gold, you'll always be rich. $1 is worth $1. An ounce of gold is worth $4,000. A 20 is worth a 20. 100 is worth 100. Okay. You'd have to have $4,000 to compare to an ounce of gold. And if you really, let me show you how much an ounce of gold is, so we can see. Let me show you what an ounce of gold is. Okay, this is trying to find a demonstration so you know exactly how much. But this is pretty much an ounce of gold. $4,000. Trying to find a chart where you can see how much an ounce, how much a pound, how much a bar. See if this one will do the trick. So this is a 1 ounce gold coin. Just an ounce is worth $4,000. Just 1 ounce. Okay? It would take you 4,000 bills to get $4,000, but just 1 ounce of gold to have $4,000. That's why they're telling the people now. Let me get back over here real quick. Let me pull up what I want to show y'all next. I'll read this to y'all, and let me flip this around so y'all can see it real quick. The declining status of the U.S. dollar as global, all around the world, reserve currency. It holds no weight around the world. It has declined status as being the dominance around the world. Central banks diversify into other currencies and gold. Crypto and gold. Okay, there was an extra special spectacle in Q1, quarter one, among the Swiss, the France, the Australian dollar, the British pound, and the Japanese yen. The dollar status as dominant foreign exchange reserve currency has been diminishing for years as central banks have been diversifying to other currencies, and over the past 3 years, massively into gold. The decline of the dollar has been slow and halting, a couple steps forward, one step back, sometimes bigger steps, other times smaller steps. And it remains by far the dominant global reserve currency, but the long-term trend is clear. And this has significant long-term consequences for the United States. This is why they're telling everybody to invest in stocks and bonds and crypto. This is why they're getting all the systems and stuff together. This is why. I want to go down to, I'm going to share my screen, turn my screen back on, because I want to show y'all. Excuse me. Hold on. I got to go down just a little bit further, but I'm going to show y'all some headlines. Hold on one second. I think it's right around here. All right, Lord, where is it? Hold on, y'all. I want y'all to see this. Want to say, okay, yeah, found it. All right, so now that you guys see that the United States dollar is declining, and now they starting to tell us, okay, as of early 2024, U.S. corporations received approximately $763 billion in forgiven. Oh, wrong thing. Hold on, but it's right here. Hold on, it's right here. Hold on. We start with this one. Okay, we'll start here first. Chase Bank of America and Wells Fargo quietly planning new digital dollar after U.S. penny set to disappear. U.S. penny is set to be gone by the early beginning of 2026. Okay, they have halted all production. So now you got these banks quietly. Didn't I tell y'all they don't make no noise? Quietly planning new digital dollar after U.S. penny set to disappear. Now we just keep on moving real quick. Treasury advances Trump plan to stop minting the penny. The Mint expects that it will realize an immediate annual savings of $56 million because it costs more to make a penny than it does, it's more money to make a penny than the penny is worth. Okay? So they're phasing out the production of the penny. I'll come back to that another time. A Treasury spokesperson said that the agency had placed its final order of penny blanks this month and that the U.S. Mint will continue manufacturing pennies until that supply runs out. And they're predicting around the early part of next year. Okay? Now, here is where we're going with this. 11 states around the country currently allow gold and silver as legal tender. I wonder why. Banks going to digital dollars. Now you got 11 states. I myself was not even aware 11 states were taking gold and silver as legal tender. But Louisiana, I knew Texas, that's where I reside, South Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, it's a bunch of them. Go look them up, okay? And Petroni said he wants to add Florida to that list. I know for sure Texas, they started doing it way back when Biden was in office and still had a couple of years, okay? The cost of producing a penny increased by 20% in the 2024 fiscal year to 3.69 cents per one coin. $3.69. Okay. 369 pennies equals $3.69. According to the U.S. Mint's annual report to Congress, the cost of producing a nickel also shot up 13.78%. Together they work, let me make sure. Okay, so here's another article. Together they'd work to use some existing networks to facilitate transactions using the digital dollar token, such as early warning services, which operates Zelle, and the clearinghouse. The financial institutions seek to create new infrastructure for the stablecoin cryptocurrency, so it's more regulated and secure. Okay. Just talking about some politicians who did some corrupt things. We'll talk about that on another day. Okay. The banks are considering the option of a joint digital dollar per payments. It would be operated through a stablecoin crypto, notably a form of cryptocurrency that's tied to a traditional currency, which in this case would be the US dollar. I mean, the sirens are flashing red in real life. The sirens are flashing red. Okay. The Treasury Department said Thursday it plans to phase out. We just read that. Okay. Here's the states that are involved in accepting gold and silver as legal tender. While the exact number may fluctuate as new legislation is passed, the movement is gaining traction across many states that have been actively involved, including Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky, Hawaii, and New Jersey. Additionally, states like Utah, Wyoming, and Oklahoma have taken further steps by recognizing gold and silver as legal tender. Would you look at that? Okay? Straight up. This is what they're planning to do. It was 11 states. Now it's 42 states have removed taxes from the purchase of gold and silver. Ain't gonna be no taxes on it. Hello. There isn't gonna be no taxes on it. Why? Because that has always been the dominant currency above all currencies. Why am I saying this? because you need some gold and you need some silver and you need some land, right? That's why. My bad, y'all. Hold on, let me check something over here. Yeah, I had to remove somebody that wasn't looking too right, bother my spirit coming up over here on Instagram. My apologies. So now we then went from 11 states to 42 states, removing taxes from the purchase of gold and silver. I wonder why. Why is this so important? Because the dollar is dying. And what is even more insane is that you got so many millions of people that are oblivious to what is happening. Won't learn about stocks. You need to be into something that makes you rapid revenue. And the only thing that I know that makes you rapid revenue is AI utilizing this, because this is the new wealth transfer, whether you like it or not. It simply is. Getting you something in the digital space will allow you to make money on demand. Like you go and watch them shows on demand, you should be making money on demand. Why do you need to make money on demand? Because you need to get more money to do what? Buy gold and silver. Why? Because that is where our currency is headed. We don't need to be going to no more fashion shows, concerts. If you gonna go, let that be an extra after your priorities have been prioritized. I need to get as much money as I can. Why? Because who is really walking around here with $4,000 extra at this point in time? I'll wait. That's for an ounce of gold. What you gonna do about 1 ounce of gold and that's gonna be it? No. We need as much as we can. We need a mixture of gold and silver. Now that the states are going to be accepting it as legal tender, what does that tell you? Y'all too quiet over here for me. What does that tell you? It should tell you a whole lot, because there's a whole lot of people ain't ready for this. They still thinking, oh, we're going to get our retirement. We're going to get our 401k. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I have a video I want y'all to see. I'm not going to sell y'all anything, okay? Y'all done already heard what it is. That's what I'm going to say. You already know what I got to offer. And one thing that we best to have, this ain't no option. You better have some good kind of credit. And if you don't, you should be working like a Jamaican, no pun intended, to get your credit together. You should be working like a Jamaican. All the plans that they have, when I tell you that these people want total control, it's absolutely appalling. It's absolutely appalling how much control they want. And I got receipts. And meanwhile, while they crashing the dollar bill, this is what they is doing it. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay. Hold on. This is what they is doing. This is what they got. Okay? U.S. city launching $3 million guaranteed income program for residents. This what the goal is. We gonna reset this system because we didn't got too in deep. We too deep in this thing. Okay, we owe too much. So we need to reset. Excuse me. We need to reset. And how we gonna reset? We think we should give everybody like $1,500. We get to control if there's another demic and we say don't go outside and we see you outside, we get to withhold your money from you. We get to make you obedient. When we say don't go out there marching and chanting and burning down stuff and we see you doing that anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and withhold your. It's all a mechanism for control. I just wanted y'all to see these headlines yourself. You do with it as you will. You have been warned. And if you ain't got no other means of making thousands of dollars in days and weeks, thousands of dollars. There's people doing $20,000 a month. I've showed you guys almost $80,000 in the last 7 months now that we in the 7 months. All online. I've came by here and showed y'all. But I want to leave y'all with this. If tomorrow was that day that they decided to crash the dollar, and some may be saying, well, how do getting gold and silver help you stay out of what's coming? I'm not indebted to you. I'm not on your programs. You can't tell me whether I can eat, sleep, pee, poop, stretch. I have created my own ecosystem with the money that you sought to destroy. Before you destroyed it, I made plenty of it so that I can have the real assets I need and not no fiat currency that's only backed by the war. Nah. The people that is going to be dependent upon the government is the people that's going to suffer the worst. And then next, you're going to need a community of like-minded believers because you're not going to be able to stand by yourself. So you need a community of like-minded believers. This is the reason why we need to go buy land. Why? So we can build us a community, just like the Muslims is doing in Texas, building their own school, own banks, their own city. Not only them, I just seen the other day, you got everybody else coming here building, buying up hundreds of acres of land. The Chinese. Yes. And they're building compounds, buying farmland to control the food. We need dirt that is conducive to seeds. So we need farmland. That's dangerous. So think about that. And I will see you guys the next time. I'm out.